So one of the things that I want to be covering with you today is the subject of control. Okay, in sales, like in anything else in life, everything is about having or yielding control. Okay, most people don't know that. Most people just live their lives in an autopilot. Okay, so sometimes you have it, sometimes you don't have it, and then sometimes you get lucky because you have it, sometimes you don't get lucky because you don't have it, and only professionals are the ones who know truly how to acquire it or to acknowledge when they lost it. Because if you don't know that you lost it, you cannot acquire it. But before I go into control, let me address two different things, and then I'm going to go and show you really quick. So control has a bad connotation because it implies like I'm grabbing you, like I'm oppressing you, like I'm holding your breath, I'm squeezing your neck, I'm holding your arms behind you. That's a connotation of control, but that's not the case. And it's not the case in the professional sales. Think about this. So, have you ever gone to a restaurant that you've never been before? Okay, and then you look at the menu and you don't know what you're gonna eat. Has that happened to you? Yes. Raise your hands if that's the case. Okay, and then typically you get to a waiter. So I want you to pick two scenarios, two different restaurants. There's gonna be restaurant A, restaurant B, and the situation is the same. So you don't know what you're going to be eating. You look at the menu and you don't know what to eat. Okay, and then we all have had these two restaurants. We all have had these two waiters. So number one is you go to one of them and you say, what's good to eat in this place? Because what do you have going on? And then they say, it's all good. My favorite is the other so and so and so, but it's all good. And then at that point you feel like, wow, thank you for the help. Because I'm trying to get some guidance, but then you're not helping me out. And then typically, some people default to, let me go to the least expensive stuff, or let me go to the most expensive stuff because it might be the best, right? But then quite often you're mistaken. Or then you have restaurant B in which you go and you say, what is good to eat? And then the waiter or the waitress goes about saying, what is your favorite meat? Are you more of a beef person? Are you more of a fish person? Are you more into this kind of things, And you say, I like beef. I said, well, one of the things that we have. So will you be more in the restaurant on the steak? Will you be more in the restaurant on this and that? And they go walking you through like a funnel. And then once they narrow down what, most likely what you want out of what they offer, they say, then I would suggest one of these two options. You can have either the beef stroganoff that we make, or you can have the beef fajitas that we make. They're awesome. They're made with filet mignon, or whatever. You know what I'm saying? So they give you a suggestion, but then they started with you not knowing anything about what you want. And then they started assessing your wants and needs, and then you say, wow, I like that person. Has that happened to you?
Yes.
Both scenarios, the A and the B. Yes. The one that says, it's all good. Okay? And the other person who truly goes and assesses your wants and needs. So which one would you rather have? B, right? That's a pro. That's a person that you like a lot. Typically they have a smile. They're quick on the step. They're truly pleasant, accommodating, or whatnot. This one is just the waiter in the bad connotation of the word. So has anybody ever been to a store looking for an outfit for the situation? You're going to go to a wedding, okay, and you need a tux, or you need a dress, or you need something like that. And typically, it is not something that you wear on a daily basis. Because, you don't wear a tuxedo on a daily basis, and you don't wear a cocktail dress on a daily basis. So you go to the store, and out of the blue, you go in, and they say, can I help you? And they say, sure. You don't have a clue of what you want. You just know that you're going to a wedding. And out of the blue, you say, I have this situation that I'm going to, and I need a dress or I need a tuxedo. And then right away they go into saying, what size are you and what color do you want? Or else, B, they say, what is the occasion? Okay? And what's going to be the theme of the wedding? Are you following what I'm saying? How's going to be the surroundings? How's going to be the so and so? And they go to tailor the presentation of their item to your specific situation. Has that happened to you? Yes or no? Yes. So we can go through any scenario in life, okay? Any scenario in life in which you're going to have the A and the B. Now the question is this: when you walk away from the A, or when you walk away from the B, which one left you with a good taste in your mouth? B. Which one is the one that you said, you know what? It was more expensive, but it was worth it. Right? Because typically B is going to be more expensive. It's going to be more expensive because not necessarily the cost of the item that you ended up buying, but because you left a larger tip. Or out of the blue, because you felt so comfortable in the restaurant, you drank more time. You know what I'm saying? And you say, wow, this is so comfortable, it's so good, let me get another bottle of wine. And then your wife, your husband, boyfriend, whatever that might be, starts saying, dude, you already drank bottles. Just chill. Let's relax. We can get a taxi cab. And you stand and have another bottle of wine just because of the B scenario. Agree or disagree? Agree. Okay. So typically on a B scenario, we spend more money. On this one, we don't. We just get by. Let's get out of here. What a disappointment. We don't come back to it again. Okay. So what am I getting to? What I'm getting to is this. Okay. Everything in life is a choice of being an A or a B. Okay? And when you go outside, in whatever you sell in life, it can be airplanes, it can be houses, it can be cars, it can be stereo systems, whatever you sell. Okay? Whether you're selling yourself to a woman, okay, because men, need to hunt, then at that point you have to be an A or a B. And then your gains are going to be based on an A or a B. Whether you're looking for a job. If out of the blue I have 5 of you guys applying for one job, the one who's going to take it is the B, not the A. Because it's the one who knows how to assess what I'm looking for, my wants and needs. And it's the one who's going to go and accommodate them. So everything in life is about selling, whether it's on A or on B. Now, we're not talking about the item. Beef is beef. Wine is wine. We're talking about the waiter selling in restaurant A or the waiter selling in restaurant B. So the waiter or the waitress is the one that makes all the difference. It's not the item. Beef is beef. Are you know what I'm saying? Yeah. It's the way that the A said, we got beef. And the second one says, oh my God, we got this marinated, aged, superb. That's how I want it. It's the same cow. Okay? It's the salesmanship that comes in place. It's a way to address the presentation. And then getting now to the point. The point is this one. What I've seen in the last week or so, by sitting occasionally at the desk, I've seen a trend of the absence of control. Okay? How does that work? Absence of control is when out of the blue you're working with a customer and then you go and say, let me go and get that key really quick. Okay? And out of the blue I see you with a customer. I say, what is your customer? Oh, they left. Has that happened to you?
Yes.
Raise your hands. Raise your hands if it has happened to you. They left. Okay? Or else, out of the blue, Chris, I need a pencil really quick. And, my customer, this and that and the other. And then Chris gives him the pencil. I say, look, he's leaving. Are you feeling what I'm saying?
Yes.
Has that happened to you? Yes or no? Raise your hand. Come on, raise them. Own it. Because, you cannot learn if you don't own it. You can only succeed in life if you're willing to fail. If you're not acknowledging failure, you can never acknowledge success. There is nothing wrong with failing. If you acknowledge it and you learn from it. There is something very wrong with failing and being in self-denial. Because you can never grow out of it. Okay? So that has happened. So whenever that is happening to you, and that happens to all of us. Okay? Happens to all of us. When that is happening to you, are you being, at that point, in that scenario, I'm not saying before or after. I'm not saying as an individual. I'm not saying as a person, as a man, as a woman. Okay? I'm referring to in that moment, as a waiter, are you being an A or a B?
An A.
Simple. Can we agree on that one? Okay? I'm not saying that you are a man or a woman that is an A or a B. You may be the best wife, mother, girlfriend, husband, father, or whatever you guys are. That's got nothing to do with that. You might be the ultimate professional for most of the times. The only thing that it represents is that at that point, with that unique customer, you were an A. That's what they worked out on your menu. Because your presentation was not up to par. Can we agree on that one? Okay. So right now, I am going to, I have seen it. I have critiqued it. But nevertheless, it's a very difficult subject to understand. Because most people don't know the motions, per se, or the techniques of control. Now, there is a slang, and in the sales profession, it's not very professional. Wake up. There is a slang that says, in this business, somebody's always always, always walking the dog. Okay? So like walking a dog. And at that point, one of the things that I used to teach my salespeople is this. If somebody's always, always, always walking the dog, okay, and if you look at your hands and you don't see the leash in your hands, what is the leash? Yes, it's that simple. If you don't have it in your hands, it's around your neck. Why is that? Because you're being walked. If somebody's always walking the dog, either you're walking it or they're walking you. Does that make any sense? Somebody's in control, somebody's not in control. There has to be a positive and a negative. A leader and a follower. Up and down, in and out, black and white. So it's the opposites. So somebody's the pro, somebody's the buyer. Somebody needs to be in control, somebody needs to be following. It's that simple. So if you're not following, or furthermore, if you're not leading, what are you doing? Following. So the proper way to say it is this. Somebody's always selling, somebody's always buying. So if you're not selling, and who's selling? Them. But then I'm talking about control. Okay? Now, control is something, so let me ask you something. So you go to that restaurant, okay? Girlfriend, whatever you have, okay? And then you look at the menu and it looks Chinese to you because you don't know what they're offering. And inevitably you come to me as a waiter. Do you mind if I use you for a second? Sure. Yes. No, you're fine. You just look at me. So, So at that point, I'm the waiter, right? So if you don't know what's going on in the menu and you ask me, hey, Louis, what do you suggest in this place? Okay. Do you want me to be subdued to you, or do you want me to take control and say, so let me ask you a few questions in order to assess what is more important to you? Would you like me to be in control in that case?
In that case,
yes. Sure. And then when I get in control, because I'm the professional, I'm the one who knows, how do you feel about me? Wow, this guy's good.
He cares about it.
This guy's good. Yeah. Because he doesn't know. You know what I'm saying? He doesn't want a man to control him. He wants a professional to be in charge of the transaction because he doesn't know how to do that. He doesn't know the menu. Agree or disagree? If I go to a tailor and I want to make a suit for a wedding, he knows how to make the suit, but he doesn't know what I like. Maybe I like it pink. Okay? So at that point, he needs to ask me, what is a wedding and what is your style? What is the image you want to portray? So at that point, I want somebody who's going to say, come here, let me show you a few examples. If you go this way, if you go this way. So the professional, we as consumers, we want the professional to be in control. Agree or disagree? Agree. As consumers, and we are all consumers, we want the professional to be in control. We want the professional to know the answers. We want the professional, before they know the answer, to know the questions to ask me, because I don't know. See, when I go and I get in a plane, I don't go and tell the pilot how to fly it. I said, I hope that he knows how to fly it. I don't want to be in control. Okay, I want to sit in the back and drink and say, that guy, he's in control. Let the pros be pros. And every vendor that I deal with, whenever they come in to sell me something, if I decide to buy it, whenever they say, how will you like it? I say, I tell you what, how about if you suggest it to me? Because you know more than me. You do that every day. You're the pro. I'm not. You're in control. Give me some options. Does that make any sense? So can we agree that in any scenario that we go as consumers into the marketplace, we want to deal with a professional, number one. Yes? Yes. We want to be in scenario B. Yes? Yes. And we want that person in scenario B to be in control. Yes? Yes. So if that's what we want, and we're willing to have another bottle of wine and spend more time, say, honey, don't worry about it. I get the headache tomorrow. Let me have another bottle of wine because I want to spend more money. If that's what we're going to do, so scenario B is the one that works, correct? Yes. So imagine scenario B now becomes scenario A. This guy doesn't know. He says, I get you whatever you want. Okay? I really don't know. Now, are you going to let him take control? No. Or are you going to walk over him? Yes. You're going to say, listen, dude, you know what? Forget about the next bottle of wine. It's taking too long. I got to go. Right or wrong? So if they don't take control, we have to take it because somebody needs to walk the dog. The other thing is when the consumer is being forced to take control, the consumer doesn't perceive value. Agree or disagree? Agree. Okay? If the consumer is not being taken over by the professional with the right questions, the right assessments. That's what control is. Okay? The right questions, the right assessments. The consumer feels that that person is not worth their time. They despise them. Agree or disagree? Agree. And typically when they despise them, what do? They walk away. Now you know what happens every time that somebody walks away from you. Okay? They're not weird. Okay? They're not insane. It's not that they didn't know what they wanted. It's that they came into a restaurant and they're not sure of what they want to eat. But as a waiter or a waitress at that point, you didn't know how to assess their wants and needs. You didn't know how to gain control because you were not prepared. Is that clear? Okay. Now, anybody can tell you, you know, you need to work on this, you need to work on that. One of the things that I've been talking about for years is that people always tell you, you know, you need to work on your attitude. You know, we need to have a winning attitude. We need to shift our attitude, but nobody ever teaches you how to do that. Nobody ever teaches you how to get a good attitude, how to fix your attitude. Because, you know, they tell you attitude is 90% of success, but then nobody tells you how to go and work about it. But this is not the subject today. The subject today is going to be control, and in the same sense, people tell you need to be in control, you need to take control, you need to be on whatever it is, but then they never tell you how. So today I'm going to give you a few tokens of control, a few bullets. Now, there is no session that I can do with you that can teach you everything that you need. Right now, I'm just enticing you, just wetting your lips. So hopefully you develop the hunger. Because, you know, if you don't develop the hunger for knowledge, okay, it doesn't matter how much I do for you, you're not going to learn it. Feel? Okay. So right now I'm going to give you a few scenarios so you understand how that works. Melinda, come here 1 second, please. So always remember this. Okay, people who make it in any profession in sales, okay, they need to deal with two different things. Actually, three. One is competition. They need to deal with two different things. Number one is rejection. The number one fear that every person has in life is rejection, because we're social beings. We're tribal beings. We need to belong into a place. So when out of the blue we try to belong into a place and somebody pushes you away, put your hand like this, just one. Somebody says, I don't like you. You don't belong here. Then we feel, you know, you feel secluded. You feel, oh my God, I don't belong. I cannot be there. So you feel rejected. So rejection is the biggest fear that every human being has. It's not death. It's rejection, not belonging. So at that point, as a sales professional, that's the biggest challenge that you have to deal with. Because every time that you go outside and the customer does this to you, you feel rejection. And you feel hurt. And then you lose your balance. And out of the blue, you're done. Okay? Now, the other thing is control. You can be a control freak. You can learn control to the fullest. And even if you know all the techniques of control, when you go outside and you deal with a customer, you're going to have and lose control. Now, I want you to remember this. You're going to have and lose control with the same customer. So I'm dealing with Melinda right now. Okay? So with Melinda, is my customer. I am going to have and lose control about 20 times. So I can be the best of the best controlling a situation. I can be that waiter in scenario B. But then with Melinda, I'm going to have it and I'm going to lose it. I'm going to have the leash in my hands and in my neck about 20 times, 10 over and 10 over, right? So control is not something solid. It is not something that you have it and then you're done. Okay? It's moving matter. It's moving energy. Okay? And that is the mastery of human interactions. So if you don't learn that, you're never going to be truly successful. Now, how does that look like? So I want to represent it to you with body language. Now, keep in mind, body language is equal to verbal language. It's the same thing. If out of the blue I cut your tongue and you cannot speak, you can still speak. You can do it with your hands. Now, if I cut your hands and your tongue, you can still speak. Right? You can say, That means I'm hungry. So body language will say everything that you want to say with your words. Typically, people will start reading you in body language before you can say your first word. So right now, I'm going to show you how control works, but I'm going to show you physically. Okay? And this is the most frequent interaction that you guys are going to have with the customer in this business. So typically, put your hand like this, and then you're going to be the customer who's going to say, I'm just looking. Okay? So I'm going to baby talk it, if you will. So I'm going to say, can I help you? And you're going to say,
I'm just looking.
Right? That's the way we feel. Then I want to help her, and she's just looking. So I'm going to say, let me help you look.
No, I told you I'm just looking.
Right? I've heard people saying that, let me help you look. Yeah, but if you don't know what you're looking for, let me help you with that.
No, I just want to look.
Right? And then we engage into this, go ahead, into this presentation of back and forth. Now, what are we doing here?
Back and forth.
Huh? Yeah. So let's squat a little bit. So push me. What are we doing now? Yes. Come up with a different word.
Competition. You're conflicting. Conflicting going on.
We're fighting.
You're fighting, yeah.
We're fighting for control. Because I'm saying, please let me help you. And she's saying, don't help me. That's what we're doing. And then she says, you know, I really got 15 minutes only before I go to lunch. And then I say, I can give it to you in 15 minutes. She says, no, but I don't need the numbers right now. Anyway, Chris told me he's going to kick my rear unless I give you the numbers. And then Louis sitting there. And then, and that's what we do in sales. We go back and forth. Okay? However, let's do this different scenario. Okay? And this is not to teach you to go and sell a car. This is for you to open your mind, because everything that you need to know is here. All you need to do is ask. So out of the blue, this is a person who is pushing on me. So no, I'm just looking or whatever. So at that point, I will go, so make some strength on my, okay, just like that. So she's pushing me. She's saying, no, I don't want to do that. Right? And at that point, so give me an objection. Say, I'm just
looking.
Leave me alone.
Leave me alone.
So do you want me to leave you alone?
Yes.
Is that what you want?
Yes.
So you just want to look, right?
Yes.
Okay, so do me a favor. And then, but the fighting ended. Let's do it again so you can see what I did. So we're fighting. I'm saying, let me help you look. No, I'm just looking, right? Let me show you the car. I told you to leave me alone. And then what I did is, so you want me to leave you alone? Is that what you want? And then you said?
Yes.
Are you sure?
Yes.
It went away. So if you know how to ask the right questions, then the answer is a yes. It's like the Godfather used to say. There you go. The Godfather used to say, I'm going to make you an offer you can't refuse. So if I ask you a question that you cannot say no to, what are you going to end up saying?
Yes.
Yes. Then if you say yes, you're not fighting me anymore. Agree or disagree? Agree. Then at that point, if you say yes, you're not fighting me anymore, who's in control?
You are.
I am. Is she happy now that I'm in control? Yes. Restaurant B. Right. Now, let me show you another scenario. I'm giving you snippets. No, you. Salesman, customer. Okay? We walk in the inventory. There are going to be 3 different scenarios. Salesman, customer. Salesman, customer. Salesman, customer.
Yes.
Do you see it? Yes. The day you want to see it, you'll sit in the showroom and see people walking around, and you're going to crack up. Okay? So I'm going to do it again. Salesman, customer. Salesman, customer. Salesman, customer. Which one is restaurant B? This one is restaurant B, right? This one is Pizza Hut. You can call and order out, right? And this one is Golden Corral. Right? Agree or disagree? Guess how most of you guys look outside? Ooh! Just like this. Just like this. But now I'm teaching you. I'm teaching you to identify that this is not control. Who's in control right here? Who's walking the dog? What is the leash? Simple. Is that something that she values? No. Restaurant A. She wants me to be a professional, doesn't she? She wants me to be in control, doesn't she? She wants me to lead the way, doesn't she? She wants a professional that says, let me show you. Right? Now, why is she putting up a fight then? Number one, it's normal. I'm a new person in her life. She doesn't know me. Secondly, I want her money. Okay? Thirdly, I want her money to put it into an asset that depreciates. So give me $100 so I can give you 20 back. So doesn't know me. I want her money and then to depreciate it. So are you surprised that she's saying no? No. Now the true answer why she's saying no is because I haven't been able to
Take control.
Get it to say
yes.
Yes. Got it?
Yes.
So having said that, if I said to you that even a control freak, you're going to be in control and out of control about 20 times with the same customer. It's like a dance. It's like up and down, yes? So how can I regain control if I don't know that I lost it? Right? And that's what happens to most of us. We go in, we go hoopity hoopity hoo. So at that point, the key point is to realize where you're standing at. So I don't know where we got before. Anyway, I'll figure it out later. So at that point is by knowing, am I here? Am I here? Or am I here? So if I am here, this is what I'm doing. Okay? If I fell to the side, this is what I'm doing. I continue. But if out of the blue she got ahead of me, this is what I need to do. Come here for a second. Right? So at that point, think of a pickup truck with a towing hitch and a boat. This is a boat. Right? So at that point, the hitch needs to continue the boat. You cannot lose sight of it. And at that point, if it's here, I need to pull it back. Right? If I'm ahead, I'm pulling it. That's fine. But you need to keep an eye on the boat. And you need to acknowledge control. Now keep in mind, they do not value, they do not appreciate, they do not respect a pickup truck that stands behind the boat. Remember? Restaurant A. So we think, and I know because I've been there. That's the way you learned. We think that this is, when a customer says, push over, run away, we think that is valuable to let them be. No, I don't want to bother them. They don't want that. They want to be taking over. They want a professional. The only reason why you say, I don't want to bother them is because you haven't prepared yourself with the right questions, with the right presentation. Are you following what I'm saying? But they do want somebody to be in control. But if you don't take it, they're going to take it. If you don't have a plan, they're going to follow their own plan. Somebody needs to walk the dog, and somebody needs to beat the dog. Does that make sense? So at that point, acknowledging that with the same customer, I'm going to be losing, at, or in control. What do I do when I realize that I lost it? Okay. Before that, how do I realize that I lost it? I'm going to show you right now. So I'm talking to the customer, blah, 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 and out of the blue she does this. She starts looking that way. Right? If I'm talking, okay, here, and she's looking there, am I in control? No. What do I have to do? Hey, come here 1 second. Right? Obviously not physically. I'm teaching you body language. So you identify it, because that's the only way you know if you have it, or you know if you lost it. There is not a button. There is not a light. You need to look at body language. That's the way you know it. How can you regain it if you don't know you lost it? Okay? So at that point, I'm talking to her and she goes like this. She starts looking at that one. Am I in control? No. Okay? How about if I'm saying, Melinda, I wanted to show you this one, and she goes and walks away to that one. Am I in control? No. How about if I say, Melinda, follow me this way, and she goes that way. Am I in control? No. How about if I say, Melinda, let's go and see that one over there, and she goes like this. Am I in control? No. Right? So can we identify that happening outside? Yes or no?
Yes.
Okay. How often does that happen outside?
All the time, every day.
The only time that it's not going to happen is the day that you're not dealing with a human. As soon as you're dealing with a human being, that's going to happen. Close to 100% of the times. Okay? It's going to happen a few times. And if you're dealing with somebody who is hypity up here, it's going to happen a lot of times. But at any given point, you need to keep this in control. You need to know what's going on. So now let me give you the scenarios. So I am talking to Melinda, right? And Melinda looks away. I lost control. Yes? How do I get it back?
You ask a leading question that you have to
Ask a question. Let me ask you a question, Melinda. So I don't have control. I said, let me ask you a question, Melinda. Once that I say, let me ask you a question, Melinda, what do I have?
Control.
Why? Because she's so waiting for me to ask that question. If I ask a question and she answers it, okay, who's leading the way? I am. It's a conversation. So that's good. It's asking any question, actually. Any question. We'll do it. Yes? Out of the blue, another scenario. If out of the blue, I say, Melinda, let me show you this one here, and she works that way, and I see I'm losing control. How do I regain it back? Ask a question. Hey, Melinda, I wanted to ask you something real quick. What do you think about right or wrong?
Right.
But I need to see that I lost it
No, they're the game back.
in order to regain it. Or else I can tell myself a story and the manager, oh no, they didn't like the pink one. They just kept on going to the other one. No, you lost control. Got it? Or else, so we just, the other one is this one. That was my favorite because I didn't know how to overcome it. Until one day I learned this. Okay? And then I figured this technique up. This, you're not going to find in any book, but it's amazing the way it works. It's like this. So this guy comes in and starts walking ahead of me. And I'm saying, hey, can I ask you a question? And he just keeps going. Nothing is working. Okay? And I said this, you know what? And at that point, what I do is this. What I do is, actually, you know, something that I wanted to ask is, never mind. Come on, follow me this way.
You jumped ahead of him.
Right?
Yeah.
So I had to force it out of that person. So they just keep walking, okay? And at that point, actually one thing that I want, never mind, I forgot what I was going to say. Come on, let's go. That's it, done. And it's amazing how that doesn't happen anymore with that customer throughout the day. Because they want somebody to lead the way. The other thing is they're coming to an establishment saying, I'm not going to let anybody walk me around. I want to tell them how this is done. And unless you understand that scenario A has no value, because we already acknowledged that, right? That we want scenario B as consumers, right? Now we need to understand what that consumer wants as well. That consumer doesn't want somebody, okay? And other people say, you want to dance with me? No. Okay. Okay. It's like a group of guys at a bar, okay? So out of the blue, you see a group of guys at a bar, and there is a beautiful woman, right? And out of the blue, you know, hey, you should go and talk to her. Well, you go. Come on, dude. You know, I'm not. I got my girlfriend. You go. You go. And finally, you know, the guy goes, I'm going to show you how it's done, right? And out of the blue, I say, hey, baby, how you doing? Ba, 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 ba. And she says, listen, leave me alone. He walks away, and out of the blue, says, what did she say? She's, yes. Right? That's what every guy would say, because we need to protect our honor. She's, you know, whatever. Right? No, what it means is you got no game. That's what it means. What do you expect? Now, check this out. I'm going to go a different scenario. So at that point, I'm the chosen one, right? In the tribe. All the guys say, no, you go, you know. And out of the blue, I go, hey, baby, how you doing? You know, what's up? And she says, screw off.
Screw off.
Okay, that's fine. So at that point, what I was expecting that she would say, because obviously that's the way it works in real life, right? Is that out of the blue, I say, hey, listen, I want us to go someplace by ourselves. And she's okay. That's the way it works, right? No! No, it doesn't work that way. She's supposed to say, screw off. And at that point, whomever takes the prize is supposed to say, whoa, are we having a bad day today? Is that what is happening right now? You truly want me to leave me alone, right? You want to? Yes, good. So, was it a tough day at work? Is that what happened? I'm going to leave you alone right now. No problem. But I just want to ask you something. I mean, like, no, don't eat all the sour cream at once, for Christ's sakes. And at that point, you engage the situation. Isn't that the way that true things happen in life, KP? Huh? The one who takes a prize in anything is the one who has a game. He knows how to overcome it now, turn it into a yes. Right or wrong? Why don't you guys do that outside when that is what you get paid for? Or if you did it more often, you will get paid more money. Most importantly, if you did it more often, I will have more often satisfied customers. Because I will have more customers coming to restaurant B as opposed to restaurant A. The beef is the same, guys. What changes the restaurant is you guys. They don't need to go to another place. They need to go to another salesman. Got it? They need to go to somebody else with a different game. Or they need to go to you going from game A to game B. Because we don't need to find somebody else. We need to find a different game for you. Does that make any sense? So let's do it again. Okay? So now, this is pure sales. It's information on today. And you're going to say,
I'm just looking.
so let me ask you something. Is it fair to say that right now, all you're doing is gathering information? Is that what you're doing right now?
Yes.
Is it fair to say that at this point you haven't decided to make a buying decision? Is that correct?
Yes.
Will you allow me, please, to give you all of the information, and hopefully, if I do a decent enough job when the time does come, you will give me consideration. Would that be all right with you?
Yes.
Done. I'm in control. See? I'm holding the hand. We're having a romance. We're walking. And out of the blue, she goes away, and she said, oh, I'm going to show this boy. And I said, can I ask you a question really quick? Are you sure you want to go on this type of vehicle, or you consider something higher? Not higher. Okay, follow me this way. Okay? And out of the blue, I said, I wanted to show you Freddie. And she says, look at her. I said, actually, can I ask you something really quick? Are you sure you will not consider Freddie? And if you say no, I said, you're a smart woman. Do you understand what I'm saying, guys? That's control. Without it, you will fail at everything in your life. You will be adrift. You will be like a boat without a rudder. Once in a blue moon, you're going to land in a port by mistake. Okay? By mistake. Most of the times, you will land on the rocks because you got no direction until you learn the game of control. And this is the way it works. Okay? Like this. You need to acknowledge where you are. You need to acknowledge where the attention is. Am I leading or am I following? And you can never be following as a profession. You always have to be leading. The only time that a customer speaks is when I ask. The only thing that they speak is what I need to know for me to be a professional. Because I lead. If I am not speaking, what am I doing? I'm listening. If I'm speaking, what am I doing? Selling. If I'm listening, what am I doing? Buying. If I'm selling, what are they doing? If I'm listening, what am I doing? Buying their excuses. Right or wrong? If I'm listening, they're selling their excuses, I'm buying their excuses, what restaurant am I? A. Right or wrong? So the only thing that you need to have ready is a few quality, what? Questions. Just a few quality questions. Few quality questions at the point of meet and greet, a few quality questions at the point of selecting a car, and a few quality questions at the point of going and presenting the numbers. Right before you present the numbers, which is when they're going to give you a push. I don't want to see the numbers. Got it? I don't want to see the numbers. That's what they're going to say. And then have a quality question for the meet and greet, a quality question for the selection, and a quality question for right going into the presentation of numbers. That's all you have to do. Because everything else after the fact is called closing. Everything else in between is called a test drive. And nobody's going to say, get me out of the car when you're going 90 miles per hour. Does that make any sense? Typically, it's at the point of meet and greet, selection, and at the point of presenting the numbers. Do we have any questions? Okay? So, how do you know you're in control? If you're leading. How do you know if you're in control? In your hands. It needs to be in my hands. It needs to be on their neck. If it is on my neck, they are in control. Okay? So, I am in control if I am leading. Right or wrong?
Yes.
Okay? I am in control if I am speaking. Right? Yes. I am in control if they're looking at me. Yes? When am I not in control? When I'm listening. When I'm following. Right? I am not in control when I'm speaking and they go in a different direction. How do I regain control?
Ask a question.
Okay. So, when do I ask a question? When they are leading. When they are not following. When they are speaking. And I'm going like, I'm not in control. What do I have to do at that point?
Ask a question.
Can I ask you a question really quick? Always ask for permission to gain control. Don't interrupt them. Right? Say, can I ask you a question really quick? And you're going to say what? Yes. They gave me control. You don't have to rape it. You just need to ask for it. Right? Any questions? Okay. So another thing is when you address what is happening with the customer, with your sales manager, when you come in and you say they, there is no need for you to say anything else. Because when you say they, you're not saying I. Now keep in mind, that's a big mouth. So at that point, when you say they just wanted to do this, they only want to do this. They didn't want to do that. They, what are you saying?
They have control.
They have control. I could have said I couldn't get them to do that. I couldn't get him to test drive the car. I couldn't get him to so-and-so, right? But that's assuming responsibility. And we don't like to assume responsibility for failure. So we say, they didn't want to do this. They just wanted to leave. They didn't want to follow my lead. They didn't want me to control them. What does that mean? I didn't control them. Right? So whenever you say they, now you know what it means. Or otherwise, when you combine two of them, when you say they just, or they only. That's a solid, and that's when you bought into the fact. That's when you are heavily committed into the excuse. Okay? And you go to sell the entity, okay, of how there was no way that could have happened. They just wanted to see the car and leave. Are you A or B? A, right? Or they only wanted to so-and-so and then they wanted to leave, right? Or else when you go, they only wanted to do this, okay, and there was nothing else that could have been done. Right? That means I bought it. I'm A. I'm not in control. I couldn't take control of them. I didn't try to get control of them because I didn't realize that I was not in control. Therefore, they left with control and their money in their pockets. And they're going to go to another restaurant until they find a B. I can tell you, for years of interviewing salespeople for a job, I always ask one question. And people gave me eyes like this. In this room, the only one who had to go through it was this individual. You got lucky. Okay? And at that point I came in, and he can tell you, because he suffered it. Okay? I will come in, I will say, I want to give you a scenario. The scenario is this: when you're a waiter in a restaurant, okay, and out of the blue you need $600 to pay your electric bill tomorrow. Now, if you don't pay, in my scenario, it's my scenario, I can do whatever I want. In my scenario, if you don't pay your electric bill tomorrow, the electric company, even if you have the money the day after, they're going to suspend your electricity for 6 months. It's just a penalty. Okay, so at that point you have a lot of pressure to come up with the $600. Okay, and then out of the blue, it is a Sunday, 11 o'clock, the restaurant is about to open. Okay, the doors open, you're the first one on rotation, and you see me pulling up in 6 minivans with my 5 wives and 37 kids. Okay, and you say, I got it made. I got it made. This is going to be a big meal. It's going to be a big ticket at 20%, you know. I got rolling, right? You tell the guys, do me a favor, round up a few tables. Okay, help me out. Out of the blue, all my family comes in, sits down. I sit down on the table, I'm the only guy, and then, you know, man of the house, you come in with the menu, say, can I get you anything to drink? And then I say, no, I came here only to look at the menu. I didn't come here to eat, nor to drink. I'm going to look at the menu, and then I'm going to leave. Isn't that the way it sounds outside? Now you see how it sounds outside? It sounds stupid when I tell you that in the interview, right? But that's what happens outside. And then you feel like saying, these people are being silly. Why in the hell will you come in with your 5 wives, 37 kids, and 5 minivans, for Christ's sakes? I need the 5 minivans for all the kids. So, and come in, sit down in this big old setup of tables just to look at the menu. Get a life. Get a life. But you cannot say that to the customer, can you? Okay? Furthermore, you need the $600 to pay your bill tomorrow, or you're going to be hot. Right? For 6 months. Right? And at that point, they sit down. And then I say, I'm not going to eat, I'm not going to drink, I just want to look at the menu, I'm going to leave. What will you say? And then you hear the most stupid explanations that they will give you. It's been 12 years me interviewing people. People give you all kind of stupid explanations. Okay? And at the end, when the explanations are given that are not sufficient, remember, Christian, it's not only you, bro, you were my last one. So then at that point, when the explanations get given that sound very stupid, what do? I pick up my 37 kids, 5 wives, 5 minivans, and I leave. And I always ask the applicants, where did I go to?
The other restaurant.
The other restaurant. Right? And I do the same thing. And then I go to the other restaurant. And then I go to the other restaurant. And eventually, what I'm going to do? I'm going to eat. And then when I ask the applicant, what happened in that restaurant that I decided to eat? People are going to say things along the lines of, oh, you like the food that they had. Okay? What I had you didn't like. Or so on and so forth. Many different excuses. I said, no. What happened in that restaurant is that they convinced me. I loved what you had to offer. I loved your menu. I loved everything about your restaurant. I was being stupid. But you didn't convince me. That's what I needed. I needed somebody to convince me. And what happened in the other restaurant, or 2 or 3 restaurants down the road, is somebody convinced me. Okay? And at that point, I'm going to mention briefly, because it's something I tell you I'm going to be speaking for years. It's good. It's good for you. Okay? Then this guy and I had a little bit of an altercation because he got killed with me in the interview. And then at that point, I sent him out. I said, this is not the place for you. Go and find a job at another place. Because you're applying for sales and you're not selling. Bye-bye. Right? And he left. Because he was not selling. And then I'm telling the story an hour later to somebody else. And somebody knocks on my door. Somebody knocks on my door. And this guy just breaks in my door with 6 boxes of donuts. He walks all the way almost to my bathroom, puts the door and says, I know you don't want to eat. I know you don't want to drink, but I brought you some samples. And whenever you get hungry, please share it with your family. And I say, have a seat, you got a job. Okay? Have a seat, you got a job. Because that is what you should have done when I went to the restaurant. You can never say, they only. I just need a salesman. I just need somebody to show me. I just need somebody to excite me. I just need somebody to care for me. I just need somebody to ask me what is important for me. That's what I need. I need somebody to take control of me. I need a professional. That's what I need. And guess what? I'm going to leave your restaurant and I'm going to go to the next one until I find one that does that for me, Freddie. You understand what I'm saying? And that's the meaning of control. Either you do or you don't. Either you do it or you get done. That's the name of the game. And it can be very rewarding, but you need to work on your mind. You need to work on your presentation and your quality questions. You need to work on your attitude on a daily basis. Okay? If you do that, you're going to be very successful. If you don't, then you're going to sound like A outside. The only thing is, before you didn't know. Right now, you have no more excuses. The next time when you found yourself saying, they bad people to me, now you know what that means.